Your thing is working.
Yay. Hello and welcome. Yay, I love your t-shirt. I have that t-shirt. So fun. Queer asterisk. Yay, yay, yay. Hi, Tristan. Lovely to meet you. And hello, beloveds. This is the Waysack Moonset song. So beautiful. I love it. I wasn't familiar with the Waysack Moon. My friend Deborah told me all about it on a bike ride. I'm curious what I heard. What did I hear? So what I love about it is like this, it's this like layered cream puff of deliciousness where the Buddha was born on this particular moon. He realized the reality of this moment being infinitely whole during this full moon. And then he died during this full moon. So just like, mm, 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 delicious. The Waysack moon. Is that how you say it? The Waysack? What up, Waysack? And then the once every 100 years. Now, is this according to Alice Bailey? It's esoteric law. Hey, esoteric law. Every 100 years, all the hierarchy of the ascended masters come together around this celestial table called Saturn, and just saw them sitting around the rings, putting drinks on it, chatting about, seeing which direction humanity's gonna go to. They spin a bottle. Then Saint Germain makes out with. Welcome to Sad Song, beloveds. Ain't nothing sacred, because it's all sacred. So how exciting. I love, who knows what they're going to choose? I don't know. Who knows what these beloveds are going to choose? But so special, so special, this auspicious moon, and such a gift. You know, it's so beautiful that this infinite moment, this totally alive, whole moment, has the sweet dream of this distorted separation consciousness and all these sweet permission slips inviting an invitation to open a little bit more. So, this auspicious moon, there's this sense of heightened illumination, there's a sense of a softening of the veils, there's a sense of more and more awareness coming through. And so, how wonderful that we can hold on to these permission slips and do our rituals and do our ceremonies and recite our prayers and write our poetry and open our hearts a little bit more, even to reflect on the sacred, to reflect on Saint Germain and his violet flame, to reflect on Jesus and Christ consciousness, to reflect on Buddha nature, to reflect on all the Mary Magdalenes and all the beloveds, all the ascended masters, the cherubims and the seraphims. What a gift that we have this capacity to allow these appearances to reflect back the light of awareness we only ever experience. The light of awareness we only ever experience. For indeed, if you are experiencing anything at all, it is the light of awareness. Every appearance serving as as an announcement of the aware stability you are. Every appearance, whether the moon is full, whether the moon is new, whether the moon is waning. I love that. I love we had like an opera singer on a bicycle riding down the road. I don't know what that was. I think she with her Viking helmet on. Oh. All appearances. So it's so sweet. You know, how do we overlook the simplicity, the beautiful simplicity? I mean, what a precious gift that we've never went anywhere. I had a sweet session with a beloved this morning, and we were laughing so hard because they were just speaking to always believing their stories and the wonder of like every which direction the mind can go. And she was like, all these, and I was like, yeah, you go that direction, that direction, that direction, that direction, that direction, that. Would you be willing to just be home for a moment? Stop going to some direction for a moment? And for this beloved, that penetrated. And she was like, oh, it's as simple as not following the stream of story, of thought. She was like, I'm constantly running in every which direction. And it doesn't matter if you call the direction mundane or stressful or even spiritual. When we're telling a story, we are moving out in a direction and overlooking, not noticing. Whew, this just as moment is. This just as heart is. Just as earth is. Just as cosmos is. The living sutra of someone walking up the stairs. The living sutra of a sweet bow. The living sutra of a consideration of where to sit. The living sutra of moving the pillow to the side or putting it on your lower back in support of your new bionic hip. I love that so much. Hello there, Lavi. So good to see you. Yay. Ah, we're speaking of the Wesak moon. Oh, yeah, we can. Gervais, would you be willing to turn off the air? Just do the little toggle to the little awful awful. Thank you. It'll turn off in a moment. And it's going to feel so yummy when it does. We're all going to go. So the Wesak moon, this particular full moon, the Buddha was born, the Buddha was born again, and the Buddha was born again. So the Buddha was born, and then on this very same full moon, I don't know how many years later, sitting under the Bodhi tree, realized true nature. And then, however many years later, on the same full moon, in the same month, phew, sweet release. Hmm. And it's how wonderful that here we are in the energy of the legend of this fullness, of this possibility, to become accustomed to the obvious. That's all any awakening is simply becoming accustomed to the obviousness of no problem here, No one here, except for a thought appearing, except for a description. We innocently lose our allegiance to the innocent, closed system of intelligence that is la mente, that is mind, the innocence of self releasing mind, self releasing thoughts, self releasing emotions, self releasing energy, self releasing planetary systems, self releasing appearances, self releasing in ecstasy. So I love it. We get to be here where we get to come out of the closet of our assumptions, of our identities, of our causality, of our time, and truly meet as this undressed, aware immediacy, this intelligence of intelligence of intelligence itself, awareness, aware of itself, just like this, regardless of appearance, delighted with appearance, exalted by all apparent phenomena. Phenomena, a sweet word used in certain Dharma talks, satsangs, Advaita Vedanta talks, certain subcultures. And then it's so sweet in the willingness to meet phenomena as presence. No phenomena stands a chance. Mist in sunlight. Nothing holding an independent nature. Empty of independent nature. Just the light of awareness here as itself. Just like every other moment ever experienced. That was the sweet kicker in the sweetness of time and space and apparent bodies and an apparent townhome and an apparent Superior and apparent Colorado. How lovely that there's the perceptual poetry of story and of time and place. And in my Machu Picchu moment, let's say when I was a 16-year-old for that music video that I filmed there, and all of a sudden, oh wow, no one depended anywhere. Just this. It was a, not even, we can use the language of reverberation, but it was instant recognition. This is all that's ever experienced. This is all I ever have experienced. When I was watching the Smurfs in my He-Man underwear, I was only ever experiencing awareness. Whatever I was experiencing with mother or father or culturally, all the various emotions, just awareness with awareness, universe with universe, God with God. Now, this limitation of language and mind's version of this can get very convoluted and can get pretty dangerous in certain subcultures. Oh, nothing to do. Oh, who cares what happens? Oh, who cares what I do? And that's not what I'm speaking of here. Just to be clear, isn't it amazing? This is why one of my favorite words, I have three favorite words, and I say this all the time, but I'm just going to say it again. One of my favorite words that I'm speaking to right now is vigilance. Vigilance till the last breath, as Papa G used to say. What a lightning strike in the core of my being. This recognizing the value of and absolute devotion to this vigilance, this vigilance, this effortless vigilance of noticing the innocent capacity for mind to co opt and corrupt every sutra, every tantra, every sacred anything, and to have the vigilance to notice, oh, hi, mind, and in that come back to the open, the unknowing, can't know, no one to know, nothing to know, fully willing and available to know, hold, embrace, serve all. Reminds me of Hanuman when Ram asked Hanuman, who are you? And Hanuman said, when I know who I am you. When I forget who I am, I serve you. So sweet. Absolutely precious. And this is the sweet capacity. Yeah, when I know who I am you. When I forget who I am, I serve you. And that's the sweet gift of every heart in here. It cannot be in this room if there hasn't been numerous essential experiences opening us up to the sacred of our own being, the sacred of life itself, of every blade of grass, of every creature. So precious. And then the innocence to overlook that. So innocent and so heartbreaking. This precious, precious planet. All the precious beings, all the precious hearts, all the precious children, all the precious moms and dads and grandparents and aunts and uncles. So very precious. It's so heartbreaking that in the overemphasis of our mental constructs and our identities, we innocently stop seeing each other. I love how Byron Katie so clearly says, no two people have ever met. I remember hearing that because it was so, it was already my experience, and it just the way the words were spoken. You know, this is where we have cultures with greetings such as namaste and lakesh, where there was the option to know each other deeply as one's own self, one's own precious self. And then the innocence of believing our stories, believing our thoughts, believing that we're our names and our bodies, that we're only our names and our bodies and our history, all of the distortion of the story of history the telephone game of humanity. In that space, not even knowing, having the awareness or the tools to recognize that we stop seeing each other. Only mind seeing mind, fear seeing fear, the unquestioned thought seeing the unquestioned thought. And then the innocence that gets caught up in the crossfire, the carnage. What's happening in Gaza right now is absolutely devastating. What's happening in multiple places on the planet, in Africa. Oh my gosh. And to come from a history that has seen this before, and seen it before, and seen it before, and seen it before. It's so curious in this willingness to rest in the heart, right? This option to be home, to come home, to take responsibility for one's own experience. And taking responsibility for one's own experiences, ending the war that only ever starts here. That only ever starts here. You know, I love that in certain therapeutic subcultures, there's the saying, discomfort gets displaced. When we look out on the planet and see people harming other people, the innocence of these beloveds, not having an awareness, not having the tools, not having the recognition, not having the education, that any outside thing, nothing outside has anything to do with your capacity to be free now. So these are beloveds who don't know how to end the war here, how to meet the discomfort here. When we don't know how to meet the discomfort here, we can't help but exist as what I call trauma Tourette's. Spewing, spewing, spewing everywhere. Trauma begets trauma. More and more trauma. Cycles and cycles of trauma. Thinking, if only these people are done, if only these people leave, if only these people think the way I do, or worship Jesus the way I do, or worship this thing the way I do, or do this the way I do, or kiss the way I do. God, there's so many, so many. The codes of conduct, endless, from the unquestioned mind. But to actually stop and discover one's capacity to meet the momentum of this ancestral trauma, the momentum which can feel like a tsunami inside, feels so overwhelming. Like, oh, there's a sadness, and oh, I can't meet this sadness, it's way too much. And then the thoughts about it, if I meet this sadness, it's going to stay here forever. If I meet this sadness, I will never get out of bed again. If I meet this sadness. And that's where it can be so supportive. Ceremony, plant medicines, I call them the great excavators. Boy, do they have the capacity to excavate whatever is shut up in our bones. And our therapists, and time in nature, and our art, and our dancing, and our singing, and our screaming, and our crying had a beautiful ceremony, a private ceremony for a beloved a couple of weeks ago. And while ikaros were coming through, sometimes they're spontaneous ikaros that are co authored by the energy of the beloved and the willingness to allow whatever wants to come through here. And this beloved was started to cry and wail and scream and sing during the ikaros. And afterwards, when during integration, what she shared was she was holding the hand of her mother's mother and her father's mother and all the grandmothers of all the lineages. And as she was holding their hand, at one point they let go of each other's hands, and each grandmother put their hand on their throat and ripped their throat out of their just and then took the throat that they ripped out and shoved it into her throat. And they all said, "Cry for us, speak for us, scream for us, sing for us." And that was the moment she was releasing, releasing. Beautiful, these gifts. My dear friend Deborah Silverman has this beautiful process of self-inquiry using the four elements. Another way of speaking to discomfort gets displaced, and meeting that discomfort is learning how to sit as clean water, sit with dirty water, sit with your water, the emotional body, and give it space, give it voice, allow it to be. This is where we invite all into the atmosphere of unwavering kindness that is inseparable from who you are as light, loving illumination, loving awareness. Beautiful that we have these options. And thank you for being willing to feel the hugeness of those feelings. There's a secret when we are willing to feel the feelings that can only be directly experienced. But that sweet little secret is the moment you're willing to allow them to be. It's like riding on the surface of water without a trace. What does get left behind are the nutrients that we get to extract from all the various emotions and energies. What a gift. And then how funny to exist as a human that gets very excited for whatever emotions are coming up. It's like, oh, I didn't know I needed this energetic kale, but here it is. All right. Take a big old bite. And let it be here. The boredom, let it be here. The despair, let it be here. That rage, the anger, let it be here. This is actually learning how to feel. What we imagine is feeling is dancing around the fire. It's a kind of avoidance, kind of indulgence, a kind of attempt to replace. Those are the three gas stations of ego. Avoidance, one gas station. Indulgence, another gas station. Total refuel of a separate self. Engaged. So innocent. But with vigilance and education, we become aware, oh, the tendency of avoidance is present, and I am stopping, and I am opening, and I am allowing. Oh, the tendency of indulging in my story. Next time I'm going to say this and that, and I'm going to put my hand on my hip, and then I'm just going to let them know. And the next time, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that, and next time I'm gonna meet this, and next time, oh, I can't believe they said that. What do they mean when they said that? Oh, indulge, indulge, indulge. Again, moving away from home, direct, traveling, 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 not noticing home. But oh, high indulgence, high mind. So appreciate that. What a fascinating suggestion. And in this moment, not my experience. I'm sitting right here, allowing as stillness, as silence. For indeed, you are silent, still. You are what inspired words and symbols such as silent, still, imperturbable, solidity of being, just as you are. And we get familiar with that when we allow these tendencies to be as we are, as they are. When the replacing tendency comes up, all of these again have their place. They're not wrong. This is not making anything out to be the new devil or the new South Park. Drugs are bad. No, all of them have their place and are inseparable from love itself. But how sweet that in our evolution, we get to learn how to meet this in a practical way. You know, I always think of if these so many of these wonderful teachers who eventually went a little cuckoo had an awareness of the tendency of mind, had a recognition of the value of vigilance and the appearance of, I'm the enlightened one. I know what you need to be enlightened. And what you need to do is get on your knees and, Lord have mercy, people say some crazy ass shit. Crazy ass shit. The amazing, one of my favorite things about working with the medicine is that before we move into ceremony, the dieta is not just about the food and the meat and the pork and the alcohol and the fermented foods, but it's also about learning how to meet your urges and surges, just the sexual energies that arise. And now, in our culture, and a lot of cultures, we don't know that we have the capacity to stand tall in the presence of the apparent overwhelming energies of sexuality. Such a gift to be able to meet those energies as they appear. What we discover is that our presence is reliable. So we shift from relying on energies bringing us the goods to what's always already given us the goods as silent, still reality, our true nature. But before I continue, anyone want to share something or have something you'd like to ask or explore? Is there a particular energy that you feel like you haven't been able to meet, that we can hold each other's hand and meet it here together? What I love about this space is that there's no separate person sitting here. I love that everyone has their own sacred geometry punam about them. But there's no such thing as a separate mind or a separate emotional body. That's only in the dream. But here it's one heart meeting itself, one mind meeting itself, one emotional body meeting itself. Yes, love. Can you pass her the microphone? Por favor. Gracias.
I would just like to share beautiful, beautiful healing that I had
Yay.
at our last ecstatic dance
Oh,
this last
sweet.
this last Saturday. It was really beautiful to be able to take the microdose and not be working with it. like not be facilitating,
Right.
but to allow myself to lay down on the mat with it
Yes.
and to allow myself just to be open to any direction or healing or just whatever the
Right.
medicine had for me.
Right.
And um, I became aware of um, some real heartache that I was
Ah,
having over, thank goodness, not really my direct situation, but a situation that had been brewing with a couple of very close people to
mm,
me. And um, and so I was sitting with that. That's what came up initially. But then I began to put myself in their shoes
right.
and allowed myself to feel triggered into times when I have been on the receiving end of backbiting or
Yes.
stories
Hmm.
and people's minds getting carried away
Yeah.
and the real yuckiness of that feeling. And so it took me back to my own pain that
Hmm.
was still hanging out. And I've practiced this enough to know,
Uh-huh.
sit with it without
Yes.
allowing myself to create stories around it, just
So
to
good.
soothe
Hmm.
the pain of what I was feeling,
Right.
or not try to decide how I was going to address it or fix it or anything, but
Hmm.
just allow myself to sit with what was
Yes.
there and
Yes.
what I was feeling and how uncomfortable it was and how yucky and mucky it was.
Right.
And so after I let myself do that for a good half hour, just really letting it
Hmm. Sometimes it takes a moment to sit with that.
flow and
Hmm.
flow and flow. And you came up so much in, the willingness, being willing and available
And my other
for it.
favorite word, and my other favorite word, willingness available.
Yeah.
So
And
silly favorite words.
and then I was directed to, well, where is it going to land?
Ah,
Because I felt it just coming in and coming into my body and then feeling it, feeling it, feeling it. But what was it going to land on? And so
ah,
I just provided a space of love, a cushion of love and compassion for myself and for the
yeah.
situation, just to let all that rest and land
Ah,
on love and
oh, beautiful.
compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just a very unexpected, never anticipated on a microdose that I was going
Uh-huh.
to have this full on experience of healing,
Yeah.
but it was
What a
very
dance.
beautiful and
Mm-hmm.
so resonates with, what you're talking about today. Thank you.
Ah, beautiful. So very welcome. This is where we get to actually access loving intelligence. This is moving from what we're used to with trying to solve the problem with the same consciousness that created the problem to that open availability, existing in that open availability. We're informed by the wisdom we are. Our words are informed by that wisdom. Our actions are informed by that wisdom. Our presence is informed by that wisdom. And it's such a sweet option. Hello there, Claudia.
Well, first, I'm very happy you mentioned that Hanuman thing again
Yes.
because it's just such a good guiding star for me.
Mm-hmm.
Either I feel pretty aligned with, not enlightenment, but with within that space, with the
Yes.
clarity, with all of that, then there is not even a question. And if not, serve that. That's such a good
Isn't
mantra.
that such a good mantra?
Instead of
Yes.
beating myself up that I'm not the sun myself right now, serve the sun. I mean, love
Ah,
this, it's just, it
beautiful.
takes away a lot of the secondary layers of not being good enough, because we're not always enlightened moment to moment. And in those not moment, have a clarity that serving that
Right.
is enough.
Right. That
Is good.
bhakti, that
It's
service.
bhakti. And now to what something strange which is sometimes happening here. Maybe you can clear that up. Um, I have right now pretty uncomplicated, beautiful days. Like that I
Yay.
wake up in the morning and I'm very happy to be awake and have
Uh-huh.
quite natural joy. And when I'm here, sometimes it's almost like I doubt that it's real. Oh, when you say, oh, what could be under the carpet and all the unfaced fears, unfaced whatever.
Right.
Well, then I think, oh my gosh, where are mine? And maybe it's all fake. But what does that serve me to think that? To question it. I mean, the face value seems quite real to me. When I feel
Right.
joy and relaxed and I do my little things, it doesn't seem I'm hiding much, but and it always thinks, oh, maybe there is more. I still miss something.
So good. So
So
good.
what would you put? And it's
So big.
mostly the middle one, not the indulging one. I know from Candice. Of course, I indulge. Oh, you are really a jerk. No, he's really a jerk. No, I mean that proves that he's really. I mean that indulging. I know so well.
It's the
I don't do
itch.
it much anymore. But the avoiding, it's hard to catch that one because if I avoid, then I avoid.
Right. Right.
So
Well,
that's the
how fun to, before I even get to that, the crux of that, to just speak to how natural it is to be okay and to be delighted and to be in love and to be happy and to be free, to be clear and to be present in your body and to feel as body moves and wakes up. And even before you, just the deliciousness of the sheets as angels, the pillow as angels, the room as angels. Like in my experience, this moment is heaven with heaven with heaven with heaven with heaven. I love that just because we call something something has never once made it so. This is God with God, the divine with the divine, the sacred with the sacred. Is one of those cream puff. I'll take a bite and a bite and a bite and a bite and a bite. The moment we believe a thought is the moment we overlook what is. This ease that is, this freedom that is, this all is well, and all is well, and all is well, and all is well that is. So it's so wonderful to recognize that, celebrate that, enjoy that, and allow that to be here. Whatever mind story about it is, whatever, this is the reality. This moment is peace. This moment is peace. This moment is every atom in its place. This moment is no problem here. Only our story of the moment is the problem. And that's not even a problem to this openness, to this awareness. You know, it's can be popular theme in our particular subculture to speak to mind. It's not like we grew up in Hogswort, whatever it's called, Hogwarts, or these enlightened Buddhist schools that we were learned how to meet these. I like to speak to it because I think it's really sweet that there be an education in the nature of mind. It's very important to have an essential experience, but after being a part of these communities for so long, it's so clear to me that just because there's an awakening doesn't mean there's a recognition of, you know, how the mind works and and the capacity to notice the pit the snares of ego, the spiritual traps of an enlightened ego. So I like to speak to those kinds of things because grace periods are so powerful. So many beloveds have had a grace period, but in their innocent unknowing how that works, enlightened ego present, and all of a sudden they're a dictator with a bindi. Innocent, nothing wrong with that either. And Lord have mercy. We've seen the heartbreak in that, all the damage that it's been done. But in your particular case, yeah, so mine comes up. Oh, do I have something to work on? No, but the fascinating thing is that we tend to look at there's something to work on, and then there's slowly but surely the onion unreeling the oven. There's some relative aspects to that, but oh my goodness, I meet with 90-year-olds who were sannyasins with Osho and then went to Papaji and have then been all over the world and have done all the workshops and all the things, and they're like, what the fuck is wrong? Why am I still believing these thoughts? I thought I healed that with Shakti Gawain. I thought I healed that in Iboga. I thought I healed that with ayahuasca. I thought I healed that with this. But the thing is that no matter what moment, it's not about someone. All we're attempting to do when we're looking at it that way is attempting to rewrite a fiction. It's already a fiction. Your whole story of you going somewhere is a fiction. It's not real, empty of an independent reality. And so to notice that, mind gets to be free. In my experience, there's no part of me that's thinking there's a mind here that is slowly becoming less mind, where it's going to finally meet stillness or be quiet. And I'm just going to be 100% enlightened the whole time or awake the whole time. No more teeter tottering on the seesaw of I'm awake and I'm not awake and I'm awake and I'm not awake. And I notice and I don't notice and I'm aware and I'm not aware and I'm free and I'm not free and I'm caught up and I'm not caught up and I'm wonders. That's all activity of mind. So, in the willingness to notice any description, any description, any description is the innocent appearance of mind, and it's appearing in this total wholeness of well being that you are. That is your nature. Yes, love.
So, can you apply that to what I say now? Like I said, I can be on one side completely actually feeling so free these days compared to when I was a youth or a kid or whatever. So, so grateful. But then, most of when you speak or when you speak about ayahuasca also, then suddenly I develop these doubts. Maybe I'm in a little room and there will be a much bigger room. Maybe I do miss something. So that type of is that mind or is that just a longing? Is that a signpost to do something or is that more just like how do you say that? Is that greed?
I love that so much.
Spiritual greed in a way? Or I don't know which part of
Yeah,
that
like
is
more,
mind
more,
and
more,
which is
bigger, bigger,
guidance.
bigger.
Where do I know which is guidance and
Right.
which is mind?
Well, from my experience, it's all about noticing where the stress is. If there's an excitement for something, for me, that's resonance. And it's like, oh, yay, how exciting. An Aya moment. Oh, I love that there's no ceiling to gratitude. I love there's no ceiling to grace. I love that there's no ceiling to love. I know that there's no ceiling to this awakened, vast expanse of being. If there's stress around it, I would just look at what the stressful thoughts are. Usually, when there's stress, there's an overemphasis of an identity. Because we're in the context of satsang, I speak to this. There's no identity here other than your story of it. For a moment, consider that. There's not someone sitting at satsang, hearing satsang to improve their lives because of satsang. In this moment, just awareness. The thought of you is but a thought that has never happened except for right now. In the thought, we think, oh, I had this thought yesterday. I had this thought when I was 12. I had this thought. No, the only thought that ever happens is now. This moment has not moved, doesn't move. There's no time here. This is out of time, this moment. I love that. I know, this is so fucking annoying. Yes. Uh-huh. Can you just put it close? Uh-huh. I
Which
love
was
it.
that?
Well, that's what's so much fun. So I know it's so fascinating. The moment I found out that there was no absolutely me, I was more me than ever. I was available, my quirks, my authenticity, the things that I like, no fear to be myself. And I am so aware that that's activity of mind. So it's they're not separate. So this is not about having some kind of non-conceptual point of view. That's why it's so impossible to speak to with this language. But it's not about being in a non-conceptual, there is no one here state, and nothing's happening, and nothing has ever happened, and I'm not doing anything. I'm never going anywhere. I'm never, essentially it's true when on a plane. I'm so clear that I'm not moving anywhere, totally still. And I love the story of, oh, I'm on a plane. If the story's working for you, totally cool. I love the story of an Ash. I love the story of a Dev. I love the story of my friends. I love the story of a Wednesday and a Tuesday and a Monday. And I love the story of something to look forward to and the gay man's ayahuasca retreat I'm about to do in Costa Rica. I love that story. Oh my God, everyone's gonna be did sarongs, which is so right. I love all the motherfucking stories. They're so much fun. And it's so beautiful to recognize, how lovely, empty of an independent nature, inseparable from the untellableness of freedom.
I feel like I'm missing the there's like a pill I need or something to combine because I
Uh-huh.
both are true. Like I know
Yeah.
that I'm whoever I am, not really, or I never really met you. And on the other hand,
Right. Well, then
and I
that's what's
can't
so
bridge the two.
fun.
I feel like when I sit here, I have this like I get high. It's like taking ayahuasca. Like whoop, the elevator's on, and I'm transported. And then I get in the car. I'm like, shit. What did he say? And I can't make it stick, and it pisses me off.
I love that so much. It's so cool.
It's not
So
cool.
honest and it's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
It's
It's
so
fucked
I
up.
so get that.
And it doesn't last, and that's not nice that I have to be dependent.
Well, this is where there's that interesting space of, it's like we have these moments, and throughout time, there's been that really sweet relationship of the heart meeting itself, and a little bit of a time where there's a little bit of support training wheels, where this moment is reflecting that, and it appears that that moment feels bigger. This is the whole sweet I don't ever use this language, but it's that whole sweet guru relationship where a guru appears to dispel the illusion of separation. And if it's relevant for your life to have a resonance with waking up and your spirit is gung ho of like being free, being done with the wheel of samsara, then you're going to resonate with someone speaking your heart's language. This is not I'm appearing inside of you. This moment to itself, this moment with its high self, high presence that's always been here, high clarity that's always been here, and high mind that has these things. The fascinating thing is that in the overlay of our stories and our individual life experiences and all the things that can be told, that's how we've learned to integrate and digest and experience our moment. And so it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna Ash and Deb and Ash and Elizabeth and Ash and Claudia and Ash and Gervais, and then we've done this retreat and we've done that retreat and we did that ceremony and we did this. And the thing is that it's only ever also this moment delighted with itself. This moment is pure intimacy and pure delight and pure joy with the extra crispiness, the sprinkles on top of the things that we love, the languages we love, the preferences we love, it's like how sweet um, that my particular constellation of existence harmonizes with your particular constellation of existence. And my constellation, my astrology chart harmonizes with your astrology chart. And to have the experiences of that, and nothing wrong with any of that, such a joy. So, and also, it's like, in my poem, Human Beautiful, when I speak to, there's a particular line when I speak about this beloved friend of mine, Diane Israel. You know, countless people were helped by your light, countless more by your wounds. You gave permission for the ugliness we share to exist as beautiful too, to exist as lovable too, to exist as something worthy of a deep and honest welcome. Vulnerability truly was your superpower. No one has ever said the word fuck like you did. Fucking amazing, fucking awesome, fucking beautiful. Oh my fucking God, I'm so grateful I got to meet you in the silence. That's the kind of meeting space no one can ever truly leave. Meet you in as this silence. I love that I got to know you and get to. I love. I just meeting you right now. I'm so excited to get to know you. I like your T-shirt, and I love your energy, and I love your haircuts, and your oh God, like and and I love the intimate relationships of my friends and your stories and knowing about your moms and about your families and about your brothers and about your this and to be able to cry and to be in the human experience and not shy away from any of it. Not shy away. I hear that. And I love that you hate the human experience. Yay. And not shy away from any of it. And know you as silence itself. There's no uh, pretending. What happened? Oh, I love that. Oh, I
So,
was like, who is that man?
Ash, I experience Deborah's frustration at times as well.
Yes. Can
And
anyone else relate?
really
I
struggle
mean,
so hard to have that bridge and to make sense.
can you lower the volume?
So I'm
Yes, there should be right on the top like a volume thing. Just put it all the way down. Put it all the way down. You said put it all the way down. Put it all the way down. You said put it all the way down.
my question is, are you saying that what we experience is a projection of what is within? I mean, like, is what's happening in Gaza happening within me? And we project that to experience
Well, it's really
life?
interesting.
I don't know.
It's
My
really
question.
interesting. It's kind of like I love being, why I love the word available is because I know I'm available when I take responsibility for myself here. You know, in taking responsibility for myself here, I end the war here.
Right, but you say there's no separate self, but
Right,
you mentioned what's happening in Gaza. So how does that
right,
make
right.
sense?
So, one thing that's so fascinating with the nature of this hologram, right, is that in our willingness to come home to ourselves, every war ends, including what's happening in Gaza now. Now. In other words, we give the whole world a chance to evolve, to be free. We resist the tendency to put things in pockets of information, in boxes. Doesn't mean that we don't talk about it or explore it and show up and donate and march and hold up the sign. But one thing that is fascinating is that there's only two ways to do anything. One is in peace and one is in stress. And when we discover home here, we can show up any way in the world as that peace, as that love. We stop contributing to the suffering of the world now. You know, if we're in a story, they need to wake up. They need to stop believing their thoughts. They need to uh, be more spiritual. They need to learn. That's the war. We are contributing to war. We are contributing to the energy of war. If we believe that anyone needs to do anything, that's a good clue that we're only talking to ourselves. Oh, I need to end that now. Here, take responsibility now, here. And in here, the permeation of that, every heart is at peace. The reality of everyone is peace. And then we're available and we show up. We're available. And in that availability, there's also the willingness for the show up. I have a dear friend, it's like when we look at the beloveds, our way showers, you have some beloveds that represent the archetype of, let's say, a Ramana Maharshi. In his authentic expression, he just sat on Arunachala and they built an ashram around him. He was just existing as pure, sweet, silent, clear. Anyone steps into the presence, no mind, recognition of what's real. He wasn't moving. And then you have way showers that appear throughout history, like Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Jesus, activists throwing the table at the wherever the fuck it was, showing up. And then we can never know how it's going to show up in our own lives. And there can be seasons. Maybe there's a season where I'm more active in the dream or the hologram. Maybe there's a season where I'm still, and they're both valid. But the biggest part of all of them is ending the war here. Ending the war here. This moment is completely new. And we can give everyone on the planet a rest by not holding so tightly to our story of what's happening and infusing this dream with some spaciousness, with some freedom, with some peace. What I love about peace is that it doesn't need to be built, doesn't need to be created, doesn't need to be maintained, doesn't need to be sustained. It's the reality of what already is when we are willing to actually be here. Was that helpful? Recognizing that we are in a hologram does. Oh, fun. Yeah.
Things, and it's really imagining to be in that situation, like with Gaza or so. Be one of those families. Be one of those. That's kind of very, very, shaking my whole system. And my question is always: is that a spiritualized version or a reality that entering that unmoving space, the center of the onion, not where you play the happy human on Monday, Tuesday, but that center, does that really serve that
It's the
overall
only
situation?
thing that serves.
So is that, like, not is that enough, but is that a real contribution?
It's the only thing that serves. When we are attempting to fix something from the same consciousness that created that something, we are just finger painting with shit. Innocent. Oh, what great you never heard the phrase the best intentions pave the road to hell? Those good intentions are mind's attempts to fix everything and organize everything, and oh, it's supposed to be like this, oh, it's supposed to be like this, oh, they're doing like this, oh, this is where you have fascinating people who have had profound awakenings, and all of a sudden they're in cults like QAnon, where they're using their high vibe thing as, and they're a Nazi. If you don't have a high vibe, away with you. It's so fucking crazy, the mind, what it does and how it corrupts and co-ops. So that's why coming home to you is the only thing that serves. It's the only thing that serves. Taking responsibility here is the only thing that serves. The merit upon merit of one soul willing to tell the truth here. The whole planet is wrapped in a balm of sanity and reality. And we exist as pure presence of solutions that are not limited to the past. We exist as creativity. We exist, our lives are art. Our words are art. The way we touch is art. The way we hug, the way we say yes, the way we say no is art. And it's, even with all the fear, fearless, willing still. Fire, forward, and still. And what can be really helpful when we taste the stillness of our being and we get a text from the God of our highest self is to have the willingness for the human emotions to come up again. When we get into the resistance for the sense of contraction, to have the willingness for that to come up. I'm willing for the contraction to be here is the sweetest gift for that. I'm willing for the sense of separation to be here. You're so welcome here. As we welcome, we are emphasizing the reality of ourselves as unmoving kindness, unmoving grace. So notice what's the same during satsang, after satsang, during satsang, after satsang. What's the same during ayahuasca, after ayahuasca? What's the same in heaven, no in heaven? In a lucid dream, no lucid dream. In the dark, in the light. In a room, on the horse. On a bike. What is the same? That was the huge gift of my first Aya moment. My first Aya moment, I never had to do Aya again. In that gift of recognizing, oh wow, imaginary medicine for an imaginary disease. Sweet perceptual poetry permission slip, allowing mind to relax enough to recognize what's never touched by anything, including the strongest psychedelic in the planet, before I knew about Bufo. But it doesn't matter what the psychedelic is. It's all compared to this awareness. Awareness never touched by any medicine. All appearances at the feet of awareness. What I like to say is mind is at the feet of the medicine. Medicine is at the feet of awareness. And awareness is at the feet of it all. Of it all. Of it all. But what I was saying is that as I was there, like, oh, this is some good shit. How do I recreate this shit? Lord, have mercy. I say, there was this intuitive voice that said, yeah, 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 this is so cool. all the dimensions, all the frequencies, all the different layers of light. You go like this, and everything's a blue grid, and you're moving dimensions, a blue grid, and then you go like this, and it's all golden. and, and what's the same? What's the same when you're making toast, when you're painting your toenails, when you're scratching your ass? And this is the gift. This is the invitation. What's the same? We innocently, especially as spiritual, uh, experiential junkies, we want that shakti and that high and those sensations, and we think that we need to pin those down, and we don't notice that, like, every point of view. This is the man who came to Papaji. Papaji, I got enlightened. Oh my God, it's so amazing, so amazing. And Papaji said, oh, that's great, that's great, that's great. And then this very man said, but Papaji, I lost it. Oh, boo-hoo, shit, mierda, mierda, mierda. And Papaji said, oh, even better, even better. Because it's not about the highs. It's not about the spiritual cocktails. It's not about the Shakti. So what? That comes and goes. What doesn't come and go? What's here? What's solid? What's plain as cracker? I don't know how more language I can use. As plain as cracker. Cracker. Plain. Ordinary. Ordinary awareness, not special awareness, not special high, not special low. Eso va y viene. It come and go. Come and go. Come and go. This no come and go. This solid, who you are, solid, present, always the one at the scene of the crime. Notice. Next time you're waiting, you're hoping for a more expansive energy. Is awareness also? Oh yes, it's here too. Oh, this feels so contracted. I feel like, oh my God, I feel like, oh, what else is here? Awareness is here. Every moment, awareness here. Can't escape yourself. Yes.
Just before I came here, I had this quite a revelation. I'm still working with it, but
Oh.
it was like on time. I had a discussion with a guy, and I said, time is only based on repetition. If there's no repetition, there's no time. And it's like coming and going, coming. It's a cycle. It's a, and so, and what's always here is the repeat, because it's always here, and it's in a timeless state because there's no time. And so we get this thing of wanting, oh, I want to go back to the way it was. I mean, I want to repeat. And you're stuck in time. You're stuck in a loop, in the past, and
Right.
for what's never repeats.
Right.
Yeah, but it seemed like it repeats.
Right.
Seems like it goes over and 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 over how many times, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. A while back, I had a thing that said, "You've now done this 15,000 times." I go, "What? I've never done anything 15,000 times." Maybe if I was counting, but it doesn't even seem. It was just so funny.
Isn't it so funny?
Never done anything 15,000. You gotta be kidding.
I know, wondrous. That's one of the tres amigos of a separation consciousness. Time. The innocent allegiance to the concept of time. Only when it comes to your own peace. Time, such a practical, yay, time. I love the illusion of time. What a gift. The practicalities of that. And when it comes to peace and freedom, not in the conversation, not in the equation. No need for no time. No need for a future moment. You're not shampoo.
I mean,
Right. No need for apply, rinse, repeat. Yes. So good. Thank you, Jim. Yeah. I invite you to take a moment to sit comfortably. And let's, in the sweet poetry of the Wesak moon, allow ourselves to bask in the energy permeating the sweet glow of this moon. Same moon that the Buddha was born under, same moon that the Buddha realized was no moon there, and same moon that the Buddha passed away. Went same moon, same awareness, same moon, same awareness, same effulgence, same light, same glow, not separate. Same Bodhi tree. Bodhi tree is another word for mind. Same mind. You're always sitting under the Bodhi tree. If a thought is appearing, there you are under the Bodhi tree. Sweet gratitude to this moon, this Scorpio moon, this full moon, this inspiration. Countless poems. I think it's the thing that's most written about and sung about. The romance, the mystery, the sweet cycles, the play of light and shadow, the poetry that we give ourselves, that this consciousness is to itself. We absorb the light only because we are the light. Feel into the power of the shine of a billion stars. The source of that light is your very nature. Awareness is light. I invite you to call out words that reflect your moment, words that reflect what you'd like to expand upon. Peace, calm, grace, meatball, availability, yeast. Oh, ease. Tennis ball sneakers. Harmony. New shoes. New car scent. What'd you say? Pillow. Understanding. I love you. A beautiful drive. I like that word too. Yes, devotion to the it, who it is. Community. The manyness and the oneness. Yeah. Anyone have a particular mantra that you love that you can share that we can sing along to? Spaghetti and meatballs. Okay. Can you pass her the mic?
You are infinite, you are eternal, you are immortal, universal.
You are infinite,
You are eternal, you are immortal, universal. You can let go, I'm not leaving you. You are infinite, you are eternal, you are immortal, universal. You can let go, I'm not
I'm not
leaving
leaving
you.
you.
You are infinite, you are eternal, you are immortal, universal. You can let go, I'm not leaving you. One more time. You are infinite, you are eternal, you are immortal, universal. You can let go, I'm not leaving you.
Thank you all for this satsang. I'm gonna end the film piece, but if we can do a little hold hand prayer moment, you'd like, you're welcome. Yay. Um, let's see. Any cute little announcements? Um, I think we have a couple of spaces open for our 4E facilitator training in September, September 22nd to the 24th, and then September 26th to the 29th here in Boulder. For anyone who would like to learn how to facilitate the 4E process using the 4 elements, so powerful. So you can go to fourelements.me.com or deborahsilvermanastrology.com for more information on that retreat. And I can't remember any of the other ones. But the next satsang is going to be what date? The 26th, May 26th, Memorial Day. So fun. 2 days before my birthday. Maybe we'll do like a little fun birthday satsang.
So not next week.
Not next week. I'll be in Costa Rica. Yes, but the week after. 26. And when are you heading to Switzerland? Oh, okay, lovely. Perfect. Yes, I'm here all June. Satsang all of June. Yay. All of June. Thank you so much. It's gonna be beautiful. It's a queer men's retreat. So sarong, sarong, sarongs. So fun. Yay. Alrighty, let's welcome. Thank you for being here to the sweet little set song. Thank you, Waisak Moon. Thank you, Buddha. Thank you, Buddha. Thank you, Buddha. Thank you, Buddha. May all beings realize and know themselves as Buddha nature through and through. Yay. If you'd like to leave a donation, you can leave one in that little blue thing over there, or you can leave one via the Venmos and all that wonderful stuff. So thank you, thank you. Thank you, Fernie.